Hey everyone, welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to be walking you guys through a complete end-to-end machine learning pipeline for acoustic structural health monitoring. This is a project that I've been working on in my machine learning in mechanical engineering course at the University of Houston, and it's led by Professor Song. My name is Ansh, and my lab partner is Amin, who has been working on this project with me, and we've been doing this together, so it is a group effort. So I'd just like to give a little shout out to those. So to understand what even is acoustic structural health monitoring or why it even matters, I just want to go back a little bit and talk more about the broader aspect of this. So if we take a look at like aerospace and civil engineering industries, whether we are dealing with aircraft fuselages or bridge supports, internal damage like delamination, which is what we are going to be focusing on in this project, are completely invisible from the outside. For example, in delamination, layers of the composite material peel apart inside, and as just normal humans, we aren't able to observe this with just the naked eye. So by the time a crack reaches the surface, failure is immediate and it's irreversible, which is why this is a big problem in many of these industries. So how would we find this invisible damage? Well, we would listen for it. And that is exactly why we are doing this experiment. So in this experiment, we actually were given a composite plate, as you can see right here. And in this composite plate, it is marked predefined cells. So there are 3 rows of cells with 9 cells in each row, so 27 total cells in this plate. And each are labeled with an X or not an X. So just to touch upon this briefly, the X's do represent debonded cells, meaning they're unhealthy. And in other words, this just means that they have been purposefully not been bonded together with epoxy between the layers of this board. All the other cells that are not marked with an X are healthy. That means they do have epoxy connecting the two layers together. And so this is like known as a sandwich composite plate. And in this project, we are going to be, or we have performed a percussion test, which just means we are tapping it with a hammer, as you can see in this video or in this photo. Not a hammer, a mallet, a percussion mallet, which is studio grade. And we record the audio using our phones, our iPhones. So in this presentation or in this video, I will show you guys how we automated the process of those audio files that we collect from tapping this plate in each cell, and how we take those audio files and the digital signal processing we use to extract those acoustic sound profiles, and how we trained 4 different machine learning algorithms to classify or basically identify the structural health of the plate. In this video, I'm going to be talking more about that. So any machine learning model is only as good as the data you give it or it's trained on. And so to ensure our model could even handle the slightest variations in background noise or tapping force, we couldn't just record only one audio file or one tap. We had to actually, for this project, we decided to record 135 separate audio files. And so we divided these audio files into 5 sets, each set containing 27 audio files. For the healthy cells, we tapped each cell 10 distinct times with about a second per hit in between each hit. And then for the unhealthy cells, which are marked with an X, we hit them a total of 24 times per unhealthy cell. And yeah, this process was repeated over and over again. And so, as you could imagine, this actually creates a lot of files in total, so 135 in total. And we actually need to rename these files to a certain name to distinctify if they are healthy audio files or unhealthy audio files in order to train our model correctly. So manually renaming and converting all of these files on an iPhone is pretty much a recipe for just something to go wrong along the way. It's very inefficient, and it can be very tedious to do. And so our first step to tackling this was to actually build a Python script in Visual Studio Code. And basically what this script would do is that we would feed it all of these audio files sequentially based on the board. So we already know exactly where each cell is and where each cell is healthy or unhealthy. So using this pattern, we can use a script to kind of automate that process of, okay, if I give it data 5, it'll know that that's that it's the good one or a bad one, and so on. So this script basically it ingests, or it takes in the raw Apple iPhone file, which is in .m4a format, and we use the PyDub library in Python to convert them into the uncompressed .wav files, which is a lot better for our ultimately our machine learning algorithm to work with. And the script automatically rename these files, and they map the chronological timestamps to the physical grid coordinates, as I said before. And so ultimately we ended up with this. So if this picture here is a little bit of an example of one data set or one folder. So there's 5 folders in total, and each folder is going to have 27 audio files in them. So this is going to be one audio data set, and as you can see, it took these raw .m4a files and automatically convert them into .wav files and renamed it as well, according to how our board was laid out with the predefined cells on it. Okay, so now that we have the clean audio files, we're going to go move on to our next hurdle, which is actually that the machine learning models, they can't just process raw .wav files. They actually would need numerical matrices. So basically we have to translate the sound waves into mathematical features. So the first part of our machine learning script in Python is actually to use a peak detection algorithm. And with this, we use the Scipy Python library, as I like to call it, to basically scan the audio and find the exact millisecond the hammer would strike the plate, and to isolate a clean 0.1 to a second of window of the impact. And then from that isolated tap, we extracted 2 sets of features. One is the power spectral density. Using Welch's method, we were able to map the sound from the time domain into the frequency domain. And this tells us where exactly the acoustic energy is being basically held at or concentrated on. So a healthy cell, it would ring at a higher frequency, while a debonded cell would vibrate loosely. And that's something we already have previous knowledge of, which is what we're taking into this machine learning algorithm script. So we extracted the mean, variance, and maximum power from the curve. The second set of feature we extracted was the Mel frequency Cepstral coefficients. And this is where we use the Librosa library built into Python. And from this we extracted 13 coefficients that essentially model how exactly our ears perceive the textures of a sound. Like, it's something like how we would feel something, but it's more if you could visualize it into a sound, how we would feel the texture of the sound. And so once we combined all of these, we converted to a physical, we converted the physical hand, like the mallet strikes, into a mathematical vector here. And so this is actually a 1/16 vector. I know it kind of looks different here, but this is a 1/16, just for formatting issues. And so yeah. Okay, so finally, after running it through all of the 4 machine learning algorithms I recently just talked about, we have based on all of our data files, we have put together a table which displays the training accuracy, validation accuracy, and using a completely unseen data set from a previous homework, homework 2. We tested it, and then we also quantified the validation to testing drop or percentage drop. So I want to point to the decision tree row. First off, this one is the one that catches. This is the one that would catch the most eyes. Is the 100% training accuracy rate. This is flawless, 100%. It's the biggest accuracy you can achieve. However, when we introduced it to unseen data, so it moved to validation, which is 85%, and then we went to the unseen data, which is homework 2, and we actually got a astounding low value of 59.79%. So this is almost 60% or more than 60% of a test drop from the training to the test. So this actually is a perfect example of overfitting. This is a pretty big trap in decision tree especially. So basically decision tree didn't actually learn the physics of the composite plate like how we would want it to, ideally. What it actually did was it just memorized the exact echoes and background noise of the room that we recorded it in. So it basically wasn't able to adapt to a different environment you could think about, or a completely different data set that didn't have the exact similar echoes and background noises as the one it was trained on. Again, K&N had a similar type of thing where it had a pretty high training accuracy, the second highest. However, when we went to the unseen data of homework 2, it dropped all the way down to 60.57, which is very similar. And so this is just a similar thing of overfitting. Now I want to point to the support vector machine row. And again, this started off with one of the lowest training accuracies, 75.7 or 75.75%. However, when it actually came to the unseen data, it kept a consistently same rate of 71.28%. So there was almost no significant drop as compared to the other data sets that we saw. Linear regression also had a similar one. It did drop a little bit more though than the support vector machine. And so ultimately the validation to testing drop, which is this percentage to that percentage, support vector machine had the lowest at a 6.46% drop. And based on these results, we can clearly state or make the statement that the support vector machine algorithm is our definitive winner, because it essentially successfully ignored the background noise and learned the true footprint of the delamination of each cell. So to wrap this up, this project yielded or gave us 3 major takeaways. First is just automating our data pipeline from converting it to the .m4a files to the .waves. This is actually pretty essential, I would say, especially when dealing with large data sets where you have to collect a bunch of training data to test your machine learning algorithms on. Having some type of algorithm to kind of speed up and not rely on human, basically to reduce that human error of converting and renaming. If that's part of what you need, then definitely building that pipeline or building that algorithm that will help you convert those files is pretty essential. Secondly, a 100% training accuracy, as we saw with the decision tree, is a red flag. Like at first you might think, oh, that's perfect. You know, training accuracy of 100% is really good. Now I can go ahead and just use that as my best machine learning algorithm. However, that's not the case, as you saw with the decision tree, as it dropped to almost 60% all the way, or it dropped to 60%, so a 40% decrease, and that's not what we are looking for. And so this algorithm will fail in the biggest way possible when it's actually introduced into the real world with unseen data. And so based on these 4 algorithms, actually, the support vector machine, when you pair it with those frequency domain features like PSD and MFCC, they're incredibly robust based on the results that we got from this project. And they're going to be great tools for acoustic structural health monitoring. So thank you for watching my presentation or my video. This project was partially sponsored by the Teaching Innovation Program grant, Smart Materials and Structural Laboratory, and Artificial Intelligent Laboratory for Monitoring and Inspection at the University of Houston. So yeah, thank you for watching my video.